the top of it all the time. Oh, this is what's happening. Oh, I gotta, oh my goodness. I do not be trying to cry. Okay. Welcome back to NTheRealestWay podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode titled Shifting Your Mindset, we're going to discuss the many reasons why cognitive dissonance, allowing yourself to stay in the same place, in the same way of thinking, it's detrimental to not just yourself, but the people around you. A lot of the times when I talk about these situations that happen in my life and how I reflect about it, it's always an internal issue that I go through. But after I heal, I understand it a lot better. I look at it like, how did this affect somebody else? Not in a way to where I'm not worried about my own well-being, but I also have to think about other people too. It's not just about me. Mainly, that's what this podcast episode is going to be highlighted around. Shifting your mindset, because it isn't just I can stay in my mindset and it's not going to harm or bother other people. But it does. It affects people. And I've mentioned this before on my podcast, previous episodes. And I talked about how when I was in high school and even up till now, I always had this self-righteous feeling that people told me in their own way that I should have, that, it was okay that I had this feeling. The people I was looking up to allowed this characteristic to run rampant and hinder genuine relationships from being healthier than they were before. A lot of the times I was in places of demanding people to achieve and accomplish and work to success, and you got to do this, do that. Mind you, we're in high school. A lot of people are doing these extra after school activities just for fun. A lot of people, they're not doing it for the thrill of a competition and trying to prove your validation. Again, mentioning other podcast episodes that I talked about, trying to have validation from other people. Some people, they don't need to do it that way. They don't need to do it at all, some of them. So I had a lot of healing to do, and South Korea has been the place that I did it. And recently I had to shift my mindset too, because I was listening to B. Simone's new podcast. Let's Try Again. Beautiful, beautiful podcast. So I'm blessed that we have a person like her in our lifetime. Truly a blessing. And she was talking about how even when we're healing, it's never a one-stop thing. And I always look at things like, okay, how can I get to that point? How can I make 1 + 1 = 2? Sometimes 1 + 1 don't equal 2. Sometimes 1 + 1 can equal 2, and it could be 2 in another way. Okay, sometimes you can subtract 4 from 2 and get 2. It's not always the same equation to get the same solution. And sometimes the solution ain't even to that equation. Okay? So just understanding that healing is not just I'm never going to just be healed and never go through anything ever again. We don't heal to never experience pain again. We heal so we have the correct tools to heal and go through it in a better way. so that next time we have an experience that is similar to that, we know how to go through it. And we don't have to harm ourselves or harm other people like we did before. Now I can check my ego. Smith, everything ain't about a competition and everything ain't about you. I checked myself. I healed a lot. Got so much more healing to do. But I healed a lot, and I got a chance to understand that everything ain't as simple as people told me it was. The conversation of cognitive dissonance is something that a lot of people deal with. Even I deal with it at some point, and I have to allow people to give me constructive criticism, to remind me that I'm not all perfect and I don't know everything. And I may have viewpoints that may be not okay in some places. I'm not perfect. The things I believed a while ago, I don't believe anymore. I'm always changing. I'm always growing. I'm always gaining compassion. One thing that I know for sure that is a key ingredient in being able to shift your mindset is having empathy. Being willing to understand somebody else's position and not allowing how you feel and not going through something to not allow you to at least feel for the other person. Say, oh, I haven't been through what you've been through, but what you've gone through and what you're dealing with right now, I know it's painful and it's really sad. So I'm going to do my best to understand your perspective, your experiences, so that we can live together and vice versa. We look at life and we section ourselves off. We have this thing and we can't, and everybody's in a group. Not everybody's in a group, but a lot of people are in a group, and society has told us that we have to be in these, or we have to fit in this way. You have to be somewhere. You can't be a nerd and a good sport player, right? You either got to be dumb and a jock or smart and weak. That's what society has taught us for a long time. But we are not those things anymore. And we don't have to conform to a way of life that other people have told us that we should live. Who said that was the only way to live? Who did? Somebody came up with this grandiose idea that this is the way to live, and I'm going to tell everybody that comes after me that this is the only way. That let's normalize being normal. Let's make it a staple of any human being. But what is the definition of normal? Who's normal? Because different perspectives and different people, different mindsets can look at life, and what you could be doing that can be completely normal to them could be something that is so weird for somebody else. Shifting your mindset. It is one of the most important things that needs to happen. Not just our country, but the world. We're going through a lot right now. And slowly, the mindset is being shifted. Unfortunately, the people who are in these positions to make bigger changes are not allowing those changes to happen. If anything, they're regressing and trying to force the society to go back into that mindset that we had before. that we can't do anything that isn't normal. One day, the world is going to get turned upside down. Be willing, be ready. I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I know there will be a change. The harder these people force and hold the world back, the stronger we become. You can't just expect tragedy and suffering to not have some kind of insight to resilience for the people who are going through that difficult time. Shifting mindsets is not just for the people who are not suffering and causing other people to suffer and not, gaining that compassion. It's not just for those people, but it's also for the people who are going through those moments of, I used to feel like I couldn't do anything, but now I feel brave, I feel strong, and I have a will to keep going. And now, me shifting my mindset has changed my life. And maybe not in the physical, but the mental allows for the physical to manifest. And I was always talking about how changing your mindset and believing these things and they will come true. I was telling Jesus, PlayStation, God. Anyway, then messed up my whole train of thought. PlayStation, talking about some battery low. Leave me alone. I am not playing Fortnite right now, okay? Anyway, oh my goodness. I don't know what I was talking about before. The damn PlayStation done messed me up. It done messed me up. I'm gonna try to just start back on the point that I was going on. Maybe I'll catch up to what I was trying to say. Let me think about what I was doing. In terms of shifting the mindset, before I was telling myself that I was believing everything that I was saying on the podcast about manifestation and believing in the success that I wanted to happen. But when I was in my room and I would look at the views and I would just everyday life, I would just say the most negative things, and it became something that I was so used to, not even verbally, sometimes just mentally. And I was like, oh my goodness, I analyzed myself. I took a step back and realized that you can't shift your mindset if you don't know what you're shifting it to. Okay? You may be shifting it worse than it was before. You standing 10 toes down on a situation that you are not educated on, nor have you had the willingness to have compassion for other people. So that was something that I had to do. And even in a couple of days of changing my mindset, I started to see improvement. And it hasn't just been like in the physical of, oh, now I get like 10,000 views on a video, but now my heart doesn't feel as heavy anymore. I'm not as stressed anymore. I don't allow people to have so much power in my life anymore. I get to control how I feel, and I don't let things that used to bother me, so simple things that used to trigger me, I don't allow them to get me angry anymore. I'm not upset about it. That is so liberating. It brings me so much happiness to just be able to have control of my emotions and my mental health and my physical. It is so amazing. And also, that fuel and that shifting of the mindset gave me a boost to, you know what? I'm not just a podcaster. I made a post recently, and I was talking about just how I found myself making podcasts and podcasts and podcasts, and I wasn't creating any other content, and it was just me podcasting. And I would look at my feed and I was like, okay, well, this looks sad to me because now I've put myself in a box of I'm just a podcaster. So recently I had to shift my mindset. I'm not just a podcaster. Now I have Motivational Mondays, and it's a way of accountability, right? It's a way of accountability for myself. So when I do physical fitness, I can be accountable because now I've said it to the world. I've told people I have Motivational Mondays where I work out and I give life lessons and just like a podcast, but just shorter in a vlog, a mini vlog about me just talking about life and what I've gone through. And it was an amazing and refreshing decision because I'm not just a podcaster. I'm so much more. My creativity is limitless. I'm limitless. So, there's going to be a lot of change with myself, physical, mental, some things you'll see, some things you won't see. And that's for you too. You know, a lot of people, they see you deciding to eat healthy and, oh, now you think you're better than me because you're eating healthy. No, I just shifted my mindset. It ain't about you. Now, oh, I don't drink as much. Oh, you think you're better than us now. Oh, you got a better job now. People are telling you that what you're doing. Oh, how dare you? How dare you become successful? How dare you choose a better life for yourself? People will tell you that. That you shifting your mindset and wanting better for yourself, you're selfish. You're entitled. I just I just want everything to continue to grow, to continue to change. And when I feel like I've reached the cap, have you ever had that feeling of reaching the top of like, oh, I don't understand like what's going to happen next? I feel like everything I've been through, this is it for me. There's no more growing. There's no more learning. I feel like I've reached the top of the roof. You've had those moments, right? Where you don't feel like you're progressing any further. And if anything, you're taking steps back. But in order to shift your mindset, and like I said before, you have to have the self-awareness in yourself and then allowing that self-awareness to amplify itself to other people. That's then when you can decide to make a change for yourself. We skip the steps that we need to go through. When you talk to somebody and they say, hey, the mindset that you have is harmful to the rest of humanity, and you already shifted to the point to where, okay, I'm going to think about your situation in my shoes. I'm going to think about how this is affecting you from a place of my benefit, of what I have. It's not going to work that way. And in order for you to realize that it's not going to work that way, you're going to have to shift your mindset. And shifting your mindset doesn't mean everything that you believed in before is gone. The true core values, I hope your values aren't, riddled and battered with pain, that you want harm for other people, because then that's when it's not just shifting your mindset, but the way of your life, of what you believe in. But before, when I had this crisis of knowing I had to change everything about myself. I felt like I was losing who I was. That me shifting my mindset, me thinking that I was superior and allowing myself to let it all go, I would lose the illusion of strength I had. Oh, I was so away from it all, I told myself. I walked around like I could do anything. I could accomplish anything. And nobody ever told me, shift your mindset, Smith. It wasn't until my mindset tore me down. Then I had to sit down and was like, okay, you know what? I ain't going about this right. And sometimes shifting your mindset takes help. You got to ask for help sometimes. If that means going to therapy, go to therapy. Get some help. Understand your perspective, a different angle, and somebody else's. You know what? Maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe it was my own trauma reflecting and directing the illusion that there was ever an issue truly. You know, our biggest enemies are ourselves. We make our lives difficult. A lot of the times, on the surface level, people aren't really worried about what you're doing. It's the magnification that you have to be perfect all the time and that you can't make a mistake. Shift that mindset. Shift it. I love to go out there and make mistakes now. What? You want me to try what? Okay. I go out there. I do the best I can. If I fumble, I fumble. But it was a lesson learned. I used to be so afraid of making mistakes. So much that I lived my life full of anxiety. I had to be every second on the top of it all the time. Oh, this is what's happening. Oh, I gotta. Oh my goodness. I do not be trying to cry. Okay. I do not be trying to cry. Okay. I be trying to be focused and say what I need to say for other people and get it out there so somebody cannot go through what I went through in the way that I went through. But I always be crying. Oh, when I think about my life and everything that's happened to me before, I just tear up. But yeah. And there's a lot of things that we talk about. And when we discuss shifting your mindset, sometimes some things don't have to be changed. Maybe you do want to help people, but the way you're doing it isn't helping them as you think you are. Maybe you're not helping the people who actually need your help. I mean, everybody needs help sometimes, but I'm talking about the intention of where you're putting your intention matters. Maybe your purpose isn't wrong. Maybe you just have to shift your mindset into a way of where, oh, the sun isn't even hitting this plant. I'm over here on the patio. The plant is in the window inside. The sun ain't even hitting it. To go even further, flowers, they need water. They need to grow, right? They need all that good stuff. You don't ever water your plant. Your plant is inside. You sitting here looking at it like, okay, well, you're suffering. Why are you suffering? I don't know. I don't know why you can't go. Just walk outside. Just walk outside, open the door, walk outside and get some rain. You don't know that this group of people, they can't get no rain. They can't just walk outside. They don't have the benefits that you have to get up and go outside and go water yourself and come back in. You're good now. So why can't anybody else do it? Sometimes it's not a level of getting your ass up and just doing it. Sometimes people just can't do things because they don't have the resources to do so. Sometimes people don't have the resources to do the things that they need to do. That's crazy, right? Shift your mindset. Everything isn't as simple as you think it is. And sometimes you can do it reverse and make it as simple as it should be. We all deserve the right to just live, to be happy, and to not worry about tomorrow. Am I going to live? Am I going to be bombed? Am I going to be shot? Am I going to be killed? Am I going to be raped? What's going to happen tomorrow? I have a family to worry about. I got to make sure my kids are okay. Remember that when shifting your mindset, a lot of us are in a place of privilege. Some more than others. I have privilege. The fact that I'm sitting here with a lamp on my face and recording a podcast episode in my room, that is privilege. A lot of people don't even have what I have. I am so thankful. Instead of looking for a place of why do I not have the things that I want? Why do I not have this? Shifting your mindset into a place of greed. You can be greedy all you want to, but eventually you're going to run up into a place where you're going to be asking for something and you think it's what you want, but it's not. It's not even what you wanted. Now I'm to the point to where before I even make any decision, and it's going to take some time, but before I make any decision, if it's a podcast episode, I'm going to do it. If it's getting up in the morning, I'm going to do it. If it's brushing my teeth, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask myself, why am I doing this? What is not just the benefit, but just the overall question of what's the intention behind what I'm doing? Fully taking myself in every moment and allowing myself to just think about what's going on around me and not just me. Okay. So I just want this to be impactful. This podcast episode was impactful for me. I know it's impactful for other people. Every day, I implore anybody who's going through anything to just allow yourself to not be forced into this is the way of life and that's the only way it should be. You're going to be lost with the rest of the world when we move forward and we continue to change. It's not a bad thing. Your ocean isn't going to just dry because you decided that your waves were too strong. They were too big. It was a high tide. Now, all I got is low tides. You know, sometimes my waves don't even push nothing. I mean, look at our shifting of the mindset, as in whoever I was before no longer exists. Your mission and your purpose will always be the same, whether you believe it will be or not. Maybe you never knew your purpose and you shifting your mindset gave you enlightenment to do so. But regardless, you've been put on this earth to live and to be happy. Allow yourself to embrace it, to fully accept it. I've said everything I needed to say. This is this week and next week, a week of podcast every single day. This is my first time ever doing that. It's going to take a lot out of me, but I'm shifting to a mindset of I can do anything. And why am I doing this? I know why I'm doing this. So that I can help people. Shift your mindset and allow the world to change you. But always continue to believe in yourself. And when the world tells you, okay, and when I say allow the world to change you, don't allow the world to tell you who you are, but allow the world to give you a different perspective. When the wind blows, okay, don't force your head the opposite direction. Fully breathe it in and allow it to take you to where you need to go. That's all I'm saying. Be willing to. Like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the utmost, to the highest power, God. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I am truly, truly grateful. This is NTheRealestWay podcast.